welcome back to another episode of the Baby Fathers podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Ricardo. Today we have a guest goes by the name of Bradley.
What's happening? What's happening?
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, man.
Our other two hosts, obviously we've got G1 West, Big G. Yeah. And we have DJ Ridler.
What's going on, people? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, before we start, obviously I want to big up the sponsors for today's show. The tops what you see us wearing is from Uglyhead TV. So Uglyhead Limited Company, I apologise.
Cartoon Paris.
And Cartoon Paris, the one that you were wearing.
Yeah.
Alright. And also as well, before we actually start, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, share, like, and make sure you follow us on all the platforms. All of that, alright? So we do have a special guest on the programme today. He goes by the name of Bradley, coming from a long, long way. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Like I said, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I actually reached out to yourself. Yeah. Like I said, I'm doing a little podcast myself. Anybody listening podcast, I don't get a chance to kind of talk about co-parenting, being a single dad, man. So obviously I saw what you were doing, was loving the material and reached out, man. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Alright, so listen, you know how we do it on the Baby Fathers, right?
Of course.
I'm just telling you from the get-go, we keep it 100
from the
real.
jump. Yeah.
Alright, it's 100 real in here. So when we talk, do not feel free to hold back.
Of course.
Alright, you're just talking your truth and your truth only. How did your story even start? Your father started off for us.
Yeah, exactly that. I appreciate the intro. But so my baby mother is from Zimbabwe, so biracial. I was dating her for several years before my son was conceived. It was kind of a bit of a...
What do you say, biracial?
Biracial, yeah.
What do you mean, sir? What does that mean?
So it's like the correct term for saying mixed race, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Biracial.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So she's mixed race.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
that.
okay, cool,
so
cool,
it's called
cool.
biracial now, isn't it? So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We learned something today.
That's what I said. Yeah.
We learned something new.
Don't correct me, innit?
I just know you don't use half caste.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. But yeah, I said mixed race before, and someone mixed race.
Yeah, you're not meant to use that either.
It's called
No, it's
biracial
not.
now.
You're not meant to say
So
that.
it's evolving, man. Constantly.
Okay, cool.
And half caste. Oh wow,
No,
that's
not
the
half
killer.
caste. Yeah.
I know you're not meant to use that either.
Yeah, no, half caste you can't use. But
Biracial.
Biracial. Okay,
so
cool.
if you're mixed any descent, it's biracial.
Anything. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously a young couple, whatnot. I think we were probably about 18, 19, on and off for a couple of years. When my son was conceived at the time, I got like a sabbatical to go like traveling around the world and whatnot for like 6 months. She broke up with me because of that, obviously being a young couple and whatnot. And a day later, I got the text after being blocked on WhatsApp. And it was just a picture of a pregnancy test. So straight there, obviously my life changes, man. But then kind of ongoing, like I said to yourselves, is like, I've kind of discovered, like I didn't really realise before, but then having the child, there's quite a difference in culture that I've had to adapt to. When I say had to, that have adapted to, sorry. Do you know what I mean? And like, things that seemed quite humorous before we had the child, like kind of evolved from then having a child, because shit gets serious, obviously. So
what do you mean when you say humorous? What do you mean by that?
Like for example, obviously being white British and that, like if I go around a girl's house, like you go to her bedroom, you close the door, obviously they're young, do you know what I mean? And then straight away it was like, you better have that door open. Do you know what I mean?
Was her dad?
I'm like,
was her dad's side from Zimbabwe?
So God bless her dad, he's not about, but it's her mum that's from Zim, and her dad was South African.
Okay.
Right.
White
So,
South
yeah.
African.
Sorry?
White South African.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, you mentioned something about culture, yeah? In the sense you just said that in your culture, you can go to the girlfriends, if it's two white people, you could go into the room, close the door, and it is what it is.
Bro, it's completely laid back, bro, honestly, like...
Your culture, you're allowed to go into each other's room, door closed. What age can you start doing that from when you was dating? Is it 14, 13, 16?
What do you
Obviously
mean?
in your house.
In my house, there's no kind of age cap, do you know what I mean? If you have someone around, like, do you know what I mean? I wasn't like serious doing things until like 16 or whatever, but like, if she's coming around, like the door's closed, do you know what I mean?
Okay, because obviously...
Could you?
No. When I was a young boy, so when I was a young boy...
What are you looking at me for? I can't help you.
Because I'm going to give you a joke in this.
No. Because when I was a young boy growing up, it was, you leave the door open, but before you even get to leave the door open, if you went to visit your girlfriend, you used to stand outside. No, you would stand outside.
You were allowed upstairs at first.
Wasn't allowed in the house in the beginning.
See?
That's mad.
You would stand outside the house, and then you would talk. Yeah? and then they would get to, you're allowed to come and sit in the sitting room.
In the sitting room.
Die.
Pattern up, the sitting room. You don't even move from the sofa. Sitting room.
All I see.
Yeah? Let me give you a joke.
What you doing here, nigga?
Let me give you a joke. I used to live with my gran. Yeah. And I remember we moved to this house. And I always said my gran did this on purpose. Because when we moved to this house, at this age, I was just starting to get with the girls and that now, yeah. She bought me a bed that you couldn't even shut my door.
What, it was too big or?
The bed was too big for the room.
So the door had to stay open?
The door had to stay open. And I always said to myself, she done that on purpose. Yeah. But yeah, even that was a no.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Or it could have been poor judgment when she bought it, as she did before to return it.
She checked the dimensions.
Bro,
She checked the dimensions.
Trying to give Granny to fit into the doubt.
I'm going to ask you, man, a question here before I get back to my story, yeah? Did the door used to bother you, man, if the door was open or not? Did you still used to get busy? Or would you actually...
Door had to be... The door was the safe way. Like, you know,
You
like...
had to have the door closed?
Once the door's closed, it was like you felt safe.
Yeah.
It was like, yes. I don't know what it was, because that door could open at any time.
You not got a lock on it.
Anytime. No, because we done that.
G, what about you?
I don't know, man.
No, G, don't tell me about it.
Always does it.
I don't know, man.
Why are you trying to wiggle your way out of it? When
Always.
the door... could you
When you're
So what are you saying? When the door shut, it's bad breed time, and then when the door opens,
It's not even
it's
bad
Mr.
time, but you're more relaxed.
If the door was open, would you still misbehave, knowing that the mum telling you...
Yes, I will still misbehave.
Okay.
If the door was open.
Of course.
The girl's mum though.
It gives me more of
the
an
girl's
airing to what's going on in that hallway.
Yeah.
Let me
Who's
give
coming?
you a high five. Because when I was younger, like...
What's the high five? There's no respect.
No.
Yeah, no respect.
Hold on.
There's no respect.
Yeah, no respect.
I think man was 17.
Leave the
at
door
time.
open.
That's bravery.
I think I was 17
Exactly.
at the time. But I think because I was just young,
You didn't care.
it's like
Yeah,
it
of
just
course.
didn't-
Yeah.
Because remember, them days there was the sneaking days. If you lot didn't sneak around in yards them days there, I don't know what you was doing.
No, do you know what it is for me? Even because, as I said, to be downstairs was one thing, but to go upstairs, so now I'm in the room. Cool. Let me just. I'm calm in it. The door's shut. Now what? Because for me, if the door's shut, it's like the parent kind of knows what's going on, but they don't.
But I can see why the parents... I think maybe because of my own doing when I was a young one, I get it. Why you would tell them to leave the door because, as you said, if the door's closed, you already know you're getting into badness.
The door's open. I'm not doing anything.
The door,
not.
even though the door being open, as me and G said, we used to do badness regardless of the door's closed or open. You understand?
Look
So
at
I
you two
think...
now.
How you doing that?
Look at you two
Put
now.
the radio on full blast.
No, they're like this. They're like this.
It's not even about that. It's about being able to hear. Because as you said,
like
when the
this.
door's closed,
You're good at to the door.
as the door's closed, Rick said you could come in at any time. And then court. Do you get what I'm saying? When you can hear, you know who's coming up the stairs.
What it
You know
is,
what I mean?
you've got to know how the whole house is running in the yard.
Exactly.
You've got to know the whole surroundings. Right? So when you know how the whole...
sounded like bandits right now. I'm not even gonna lie, bro.
Once you're in the
Everybody's bandits, bro.
But
Everybody's bandits.
anyway, enough of that. Go on, bro.
Yeah,
We're back to you, though.
So so obviously I had to, I keep on saying had to, I adapted to that kind of thing initially, that those kind of changes. And it was even things like, obviously she would be around my house, it'd be like 8 o'clock and it'd be like, yeah, I've got to go home now. What do you mean? You're 19, what do you mean you got to go home? Oh, no, I've got to get home, I'm not allowed to stay out. And I was like, what do you mean you're not allowed to stay out? And then obviously these are like basic things before my son came along that was already a strain in a relationship. So you then involve like a child into kind of the difference in culture and whatnot. And I've kind of found as well, like for example, my mum being like I said, British and whatnot, like if they have an opinion, they go like really shy and quiet about it, do you know what I mean? Whereas her mum will tell you straight, do you know what I mean? And initially I was like, yo, this is a lot to deal with, do you know what I mean? Like, kind of taken back by it and that, and I was like, shit, this ain't something I used to. And obviously like the noise, like you go around the house and that, and there's like 20 people around there. Oh, so-and-so's my cousin. That you quickly find out, and you quickly find out they ain't actually blood related, but it's their cousin. And you start going, oh, that's what they mean by cousin, aunties, uncles, and all that. And you kind of get used to the lifestyle and that. Do you know what I mean? But initially, like early days, man, it's a lot to take in from like the first meal, like the formal dinner. Like, it's like you're invited to dinner, and I was like, shit, okay. Yeah. Obviously, being completely honest, like as open-minded as I am of all different cultures, like growing up, I was like, yo, I'm like the white guy, like kind of walking in there, like they might judge me. I don't know what to kind of expect. and they're like eating chicken curry, and I remember like going thinking, shit. Like, where they spitting the bones, isn't it? Because the chicken curry's got bones in. I'm English, like, it's chicken breast. I see no napkins or nothing, yeah. I'm stressing out. So I'm like, yo, a stepdad was there at the time. He was a big man and that. And I'm thinking, I might be disrespectful if I spit out the bone. So I ate every single bone on my plate.
Oh,
bro. A big plate as well. It's a big plate. And then after, obviously, I've gone to her bedroom again, doors open. So I'm stressing out about that as well. And I'm just like, the amount of bones I've just eaten, I might have to go to A&E because it's
serious, bro.
Yeah, man.
Because you didn't want to spit out the bones, big man.
Yeah, I wanted to be respectful. Do you know what I mean?
Respectful to who, though?
No, like I said,
to the beast across the table eating fucking bones.
Like, her mum's just cooked me
the dad of the house.
Like, if you don't spit out the bones, I'm ready to eat the bone.
You've met the parents.
Yeah.
How did it come about to when you did get her pregnant?
Yeah.
How was it then told to the parents?
So that was surprisingly fairly easier than I kind of expected. Like I said, like, God bless her daddy's not about, but it was more so like her mum. Her mum at that point, like I said, was very opinionated, but I kind of got used to her at that point, and I had a great relationship with her, do you know what I mean? So that wasn't a big concern, but like my concern was like initially, like, let's have a conversation about it. And like, again, I don't know if this is a cultural thing, please like correct me if it's not the case, like strong Catholics. And straight away, I was like, oh, let's have a conversation about what we're going to do about the baby. And she was like, there's no conversation, I'm having it.
When you two, so you obviously, you didn't go away, you had the child, you two broke up straight away? Or?
Yeah, no, I was trying to make it work for about a year, bro. For about a year, like, living in like a tiny masonette, bro. Because obviously, like I said, it wasn't planned. So financially, I'm like, shit. Like, trying to like afford something cheap, like a small little masonette room and whatnot, and make. So
you took her at her mum's house, rented out a spot at the time.
Exactly, bro. Exactly that, and that went kind of like that went okay, to be honest. I think with that, the whole culture differences and whatnot as well. Like, one of the major kind of difficulties we had at the time, but now I'd be cool with it, kind of thing, because got used to it. But was like, I'd come home from working 9 to 5 and on that call centre, like stressing out. I'm like, at least go home to my son, missus and whatnot. And she'd always be at her mum's house.
But the fact of her being at her mum's, just you didn't really like that.
Yeah, that's not something I was kind of used to. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, very strong relationship with like her family and whatnot. And at the time, I obviously understood why she was close with them and whatnot. But I was like, but this is our family now. Like, that's your family, yeah, but like, we've got an immediate family here.
Do you find it was her mum who was getting more involved in your relationship, or was it more that she was just happy going to the mum's house?
At the time, I'm not gonna lie, like, I did think it was like partially her mum's involvement. Like, for example, if she ain't came around for like X amount of time, like, she'd get called like, why ain't you came around the house? And that kind of thing there. And I used to stress, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to go along because, like I said, my relationship with the mum's good, her mum, sorry. But sometimes after you finish working, like, you want to be chilling at your own place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course.
So I feel that was kind of put a major strain on the relationship as well.
When did it start going downhill?
So that was part of it as well. And then it was like, and he's having a double-barreled name. I'm not saying that's a culture thing. So there was a lot of things like that, and I was like, kind of like, you don't really have too much of a say. Like, obviously you have your put, and I respect it. But you don't have enough to kind of tell me like what the name's going to be. Do you know what I mean? So,
you're talking about a double barrel name. Do you agree it should be a double barrel? Or you think it should be just a father's name and done?
Like, I'm old fashioned, bro. Like, I kind of think, and then Dave, you have a son, that's your bloodline. He carries on your name.
Not the mums then.
Not the mums. Like, that's just my opinion. Like, call it for what it is. But do you know what I mean? I don't think it should be double barrel personally.
And why do you feel like that though? Why do you see it like that?
Because, like, when she initially said that, I was like, but when he goes to school and whatnot, or when he gets older and he has his friends, are they going to call him by my surname or your surname? Like, because it'll probably get shortened along the line, do you know what I mean?
It might do, but that's a minor.
Yeah. What do you think about double barrel names?
My son's got double barrel, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Me, you see, my mother, she said, yeah, my mum gave me her surname. She wasn't.
But was that because she was beefing with your
She
partner?
wasn't. I don't know. But she wasn't on all of that.
Same with me, though.
She wasn't on all of that. But the double barrel thing, I think, I don't personally myself, I don't see a problem.
Was you calm with that from the jump?
I didn't see a problem. Do you know what my thing was? I was like, is my name going first or second?
No, that's what I'm saying. So I was that stubborn, yeah. That because my boy told me, he's like, listen, yeah, that apparently in double barrel names, that the name that goes second is usually what they call them by. So I was like, cool. And then after I'd done that, I was signed like the name register, whatever you want to call it. Like, I realised it sounds like a toothpaste. Like the name sounds messed up. I was like, I've done my son dirty, but I'll explain it to him.
Because with all my kids all double barrel names.
All double barrel. Yeah.
And when it happened, it wasn't even a questionable thing to me. It was just like it's something that I
straight away.
Yeah, it's just it's expected.
Yeah.
Okay. My name always goes at the.
My kids have got just my name.
I was gonna say that.
Can't man the big man, innit?
No, I was waiting for you to say that.
Except the one outside, and she done me dirty, went to the registry office and all that without me. So I'm not even on there.
Yeah.
But
do you understand?
But was that
but
your choice?
all the four, they're me.
But that was that your choice?
I'm the man, innit?
No.
I'm the guy, innit? Hey, look at me, I'm the guy. Check it out. No. What? Was that by choice?
Was that by choice, or it was?
Because that's what I know it to be.
Did you say that was happening? Like, did you say this is what's happening? Yes or no? Did you say this is what's happening?
Well, no. I think she knew that that's what you do, and I knew that that's what you do.
Okay,
so that's what it was.
Yeah, that's neutral.
Yeah, that's just what it was.
Yeah, that's neutral then. Yeah.
But with my first son. That I'm not on nothing. He's just got some funny name. Yeah.
So
as far as I'm concerned,
G, hold on.
That ain't my name.
So G, with the
big man, fix your mic. Hey, someone get him some milk. Get him some milk. He needs milk.
So with the first one, the one who doesn't have a surname, was you expecting for my man to have your name, or was you expecting to be double barrel?
Of course. That's why part of it, I've been so pissed and vexed certain time because he ain't even got my name.
That's why I'm like,
he's not even a mini Gigi like how I am, an original Gigi. His brother's a Gigi. No, he's not a Gigi.
But would you
he's a G. He's a GD.
Okay.
What's that?
So if the mum gave her name and your name, you'd have been cool with it?
No.
I would have been cool with that too. And the reason being, because I can say this.
Because of... Go on.
I grew up believing I had a double barrel, which I really never.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
I've had things in that name and I've had things in that name. Do you understand? But on my driver license, it's just the 2 G's.
Yeah.
When it could have been, on my neck here it says GGC because I've grown up believing I've got a double barrel.
Okay.
C being my mum, G being my dad's. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah.
But my parents gave me the.
I was gonna say, what have you got?
I carry my dad's name, my dad's surname, but my mum gave me the double barrel. So I could choose.
So you got the double barrel.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the one you picked
up.
So I can then choose.
Now you got aliases. It's an alias. Yeah. Please know me by both. and they use one as an alias. I have an alias. They say it's an actual alias. Yeah. Jesus. Like one name will come up. You need to approach him with 2 officers, or don't approach him. One name comes up like that. That's the name I used to dish out when I was getting in trouble. I would dish out that name. You get what I'm saying? But
yeah, exactly. Like, so that was a bit of a problem, but we moved on from that, and like where we're at now, I'm thankful that we have a good relationship, obviously friendship. Because I was like, I don't want to be just civilized. I want to have a friendship and whatnot, and I'm very close with her mum and her family, so it's kind of gone into a positive direction. But along with like kind of thoughts and that, like people were saying things to me like, hate to open up like a can of worms and that, but with like the whole Meghan and Harry shit that's happened recently, do you know what I mean? And like being in like a similar situation with myself, and obviously like part of that time being biracial, like I realised there were like kind of similar comments as well that I kind of read like about hair and those kind of things here, and people were like, but what if he grows up and he like decides to hang around with like all Zim people and he doesn't really have time for like, his English culture?
So what you just said, was that coming from
the mic? Took it to the mic.
Sorry, was that coming from your side? Like,
yeah,
people that you know saying,
like I like, listen, like, I'm not trying to say what's racist and what's not, but one of the comments like someone said like was kind of like, they said it was curiosity, like saying, what kind of hair would you have? What do you think he's gonna look like? And something I really thought about. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care what he looks like. It's my son. Do you know what I mean? And then there was, like I said, a lot of like what happens, because to be honest, like her mum and her family are very hands-on with my son, which I love. Like I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. But because of that, they're like, oh yeah, do you think that maybe he won't necessarily like kind of hang around with, for example, English people? Do you think he'll like claim he's like Zim and that thing? So that was another conversation as well, but that wasn't something that I even really entertained. But of course, at the time, it was again these kind of questions that you crop up that you weren't in my shoes, kind of expecting. Do you know what I mean?
So are you a weekend dad or you're full time? Like, how does it work?
Like 3 days a week.
So you have him 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
She does 4.
How old is he?
3.
He's 3 at the moment.
He's still young, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And these are early days for me. Like I've yet to kind of go through the process of like co-parenting with like both getting new partners and those kind of things. But
How do you reckon you're gonna deal with that though? If she told you she's got a new guy around.
Like we've kind of had the conversations before, because like I said, we're like friends. Like it kind of all depends of like if you've got feelings invested at the time.
One talking to her. I'm asking you. Yeah, it's a random conversation.
Like for example, if she gets a man, yeah, or if I get a girl, you mean?
No. If she gets a man,
she gets a new boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. If she gets a new boyfriend, how are you going to be dealing with it?
Bro, I'm going to be upset.
Okay. But what are you upset about if you don't have feelings for her? No?
Because like I kind of said to you, like the relationship has always been good. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've got love for her, I've got love for the family, but like we just argued like cat and dog, and there was more to it because it was constant arguing, and it was like, although there's feelings there, we don't get along. We're never gonna get.
Either of you been seeing anyone in between this time?
Yeah, so she was seeing someone and I was seeing someone, but it wasn't like serious dating. It wasn't just like a fling, don't get me wrong, but it's early stages of dating. Do you know what I mean? And initially I was like cool with like the prospect of her seeing someone else, do you know what I mean? And she wasn't necessarily so cool with me, like seeing someone else, do you know what I mean? And we kind of tried to speak again and see what could happen, but it always ends in the same direction.
So was there a conversation about, you can see who you want to see, I can see who I want to see, but we won't do it around your child?
Yeah, no, that goes without saying. Like, I'm very much like, my son ain't gonna see some like random girls every other month. Do you know what I mean? It's like for me, that the next girl that he's gonna see is gonna be the girl that I think that I'm gonna be with. Do you know what I mean? For good.
Long term.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly.
And then her, is she had a guy around the child?
No, thankfully not, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm fairly early days. So the reason why I want to come and speak to yourselves as well, because I see obviously the things that you were talking about and experiences and whatnot, and like my kind of friend circle. And the people that do have kids are like even younger and that haven't really gotten through it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel that's something that I have to be open-minded with. But I know there's a lot of stress incoming. Do you know what I mean? Like,
income. Well, you
So how old are you? I'm guessing what, 23?
I'm 26, bro.
Okay, cool.
You said the right word.
I gave him the right couple years off.
I'm gonna ask you this question, right?
Go on.
You saying you don't think you two are gonna get back?
Yeah.
Right. Now, if she moves on in her life, obviously I'm not expecting this to happen, but if she has a child with another guy at some stage, how do you think you're able to cope knowing she's now having a child with somebody else? Knowing that you're the guy, because
I have to think about it logically, because like as guys we want our cake and eat it too. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to be with her, but at the same time I can't stop her from being with someone else at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So I think for me, like I think irrational sometimes. I'll be like, even though right now logically I'll be like, yeah, we don't work. If I'm in that position, I'll convince myself we should have worked. We should have worked, and we may have worked if she didn't get pregnant with someone else. So that's what I'm like, and I know I'm probably going to face.
But you think a lot of guys are like that? Then they convince themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
G.
100%.
Do you think guys convince themselves to say to themselves, they train their mind to think, fuck her, and this is what it is, and you're cool?
Most definitely, you try and do that.
What? How?
You got what? Convince yourself it's done.
Oh,
that you'll end up being hurt and thinking that it's your woman and she's there with next man. You'll be pissed off.
It's just logical, innit? You have to
you have to do that.
Fuck it. Let's fuck
it.
You
go into the don't.
No, seriously. You think about it and you say fuck it.
Yeah.
You
just
think about it
and you're done.
No. But you think about it. And you think about it again, you're like, fuck it. And you think about it again, you're like, oh, fuck it. Just fuck it.
But then you hear that one song in the car.
No, fuck it.
You straight back to depressed mode.
You change it. Fuck it.
How long have you not been with her?
Over a year.
Okay, that's a bit of time.
40 months or something like that. One of the struggles as well, like along with that kind of financial struggles, when I was with her, like going, not to go all the way back, but like the kind of cultural differences, and that was like mental health.
Yeah.
Like my nan, who was like my mum, like second mum, I lived with her and whatnot, like yourself, and she passed away, and obviously that hit me hard, man. And there was kind of a lot of mental health struggles. I was off work for X amount of time, obviously getting sick pay and whatnot. But like I felt like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, like the cultural understanding wasn't quite there. Do you know what I mean? And I felt awkward to like.
What made you feel different? What do you find that wasn't there? Like, what kind of support are you referring to? Because
I was at like midway there, like even if I've got my own struggles, do you know what I mean, like depression and whatever.
Personal.
Yeah, but I got my struggles, man. Like, I still need to be a dad. I still need to go out and get money. I'm not going to sit around my arse and start dwelling on it, innit? I've got to do what I've got to do. But I was like, fucking hell, I can't just sit around being depressed and stuff. Like, I need to still support her. I need to support my son. But like, if I have a shit day, there wasn't like kind of...
You wasn't getting the support from her?
Yeah, it wasn't, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Do you want to talk? There was none of that. It was kind of, sometimes like, if we need to go somewhere and I'm not feeling up to it, it's like, oh, come on, let's just go there. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't really the understanding.
How old is she?
Same age as me, 26, yeah.
But go.
I was just going to say, then obviously being off work for like, I think it was like only like 2 weeks or something. And like going around to her mum's house again, because like I said, I go around there frequently. Like, it'd be really awkward, like, why are you off work, to like speak about it? And I'd be like, bullshit. I'd be like, oh yeah, I just claim stress, innit? Yeah, make a joke about it, because
it's not really a joke. It's
not a
real
joke.
life.
Yeah,
You're feeling some
shit.
type of way.
Yeah, it didn't kind of at the time feel like that. Do you know what I mean? And without telling other people's story, like, I find whether it be culture and whatnot, sometimes people that don't know anything about mental health, like, encountering. She kind of encountered it, and I was like,
alright. So
did
you get any help with the mental health after that, when you realised that you was depressed and stuff?
what, from her?
No, just in general, because she wasn't giving you that support.
Oh yeah.
So
Like,
where did you go out and get support?
yeah,
after?
bro. Like, as a guy, like, it's embarrassing. Well, I thought it was embarrassing. Like, it shouldn't be. Don't get me wrong.
not.
Yeah, it's not, bro. But like, at a time, like, I'd suffered with it for years on and off. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of shit happened in my life, and I was like, I got cool work, and like, there was times like, if you look at like my work record and whatnot, I was off X amount of time here, off there, because a lot of shit was happening, and I was like, you know what, I can't keep running from it. And I had the conversation and that with like my manager at the time. And like, he was an older South African guy, like hard as nails, bro.
Yeah.
Like, was in like the army and everything. And he like looked like he was upset, and I was like, what's going on here? And he started telling me like his struggles on a daily basis, like struggling to sleep and stuff like that. Well, I won't go into it too much. So that kind of opened my eyes. Like everyone that suffers, whether they speak about it or not, even if they
And
kind
it's
of
a
have
thing
an
of men
awareness.
as well. It's a thing men think, like, as you just said,
Yeah.
I'm a pussy or anything like
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's bollocks, bro.
It's crazy, bro.
And that's where the problem starts.
Honestly.
I think,
Not opening up to your boys
Yeah.
and saying, do you know what, something is wrong.
but I just think
I tell people straight when I feel like I'm down.
Yeah.
Like, I will say stressed, but then I'll say depressed. I use both the words
Whatever
when I
word it is.
describe
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
feeling.
whatever word it is,
Do you
bro,
understand?
say it,
Because
bro.
sometimes you get there, you're like, fuck.
And do you know what it is? Just even saying that, or picking up the phone and saying, Rid, bro, I'm down, bro, I feel shit. Even that.
Oh, you can't tell
That's
Ridger.
strength, bro. That's
No.
Ridge will slap you in the face and he's so sharpen up.
No, I reckon I could tell him rather
Get
than
off
telling
me,
you
I don't
that.
need to touch me.
Yeah.
I reckon I could tell him that rather than telling you that.
Yeah, I can't tell him that.
No, I reckon I could ring Rid and say,
So email
Rid,
live, so
I'm
just get
bro.
down there now.
no. Do you know what it is?
He thinks it's an excuse.
No,
and
no.
I'm telling the man I'm down, you know. I'm feeling down. I
know what
don't
it
want
is?
to be on that and I'm down.
Do you know with G, yeah? No, but cause there's times where I'll shout you. Like Rick could shout, man, and I'm my ear. I'll listen to him, man, and I'll give like I even get people from the baby fathers, a lot of young fathers, who actually sends DMs and says, is there someone I can talk to? Yeah, my young father. I drop them my number, then man will phone me, and then they will talk.
Wait, are you charging for that?
Huh?
Are you charging for that?
No.
You know what I'm
Nah.
saying?
And then
He's doing that off his foreskin.
I will get. I speak to a lot of young fathers. I speak to about 3 to 4 a week.
That's what I said. I reckon I could ring you and be. She shut. I
Sorry,
reckon I can
sorry.
ring Rid and be like, yo. But as I say, but it's good. And guys, seriously, like, men, don't feel as like Brady said, you're a pussy or like you have feelings. And the best thing to do, seriously, if you feel down, ring one of your boys, ring someone and just get it off.
No, but you
Just
can't
talk
ring
about
any
it.
boy. There's a boy.
No,
you
that's
have,
what I'm saying,
there's
but you
certain
know.
man-
You should be able to
Yeah,
do that.
No, but there's
No,
certain
no,
man
you know.
can't.
If your boy
You
mocks
know.
you though, if your boy mocks you
This-
for that, you
this
kind
what
of
I'm saying,
realise.
you
That's
know.
what you're done.
Huh?
But I said
Oh.
it's not your
It's
your
not,
guy.
it's not, friend.
Yeah,
There's certain man who you can chat
100%,
to,
but you'll know.
but you will know.
You know.
I think I spoke to G on a couple of occasions, and I come off. But that's me talking my shit to G, and G's actually come out some good shit. I don't know if people.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, people have like life stories that you don't even realise until you open up and speak to them about it as well. Like I said, man.
Or they could be going through the same thing as you.
Exactly.
No one's talking. Everyone, man,
Like,
them. No one's talking.
yeah.
But if you talk, you might be like,
That's what I'm
right, you
saying.
know what? I've gone through the same thing.
Exactly. Like even when I was with her, like I said, like living in like room at my brother's house, like barely having any money, getting a bus, bro. I was like, I'm a shit dad. Obviously, that doesn't define you. You've kind of got to realise along the way that there's progress, bro. Like in the sense where I've gone from that room to my mum's room. I'm not saying that's progress, but now being completely honest, this place that I'm going into is a new build, beautiful. It's shared ownership.
We have to wrap it up now, lads.
Trouble's coming though, you know that. Innit?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of wrap it up. Hey, come on, I just want to kind of wrap it off, like how the whole situation, the whole cultural thing, like how that kind of ends. Like her kind of like, I want to say feedback, it's not feedback, whatever you want to call it. She was like, going through those experiences personally, I probably would date someone with my own culture. That's what she kind of said, not because I didn't like dating you or whatnot, but because it takes time for the other person to kind of adapt and understand, and I ain't got time for that really. Whereas me,
that's what she said to you.
Politely, yeah, politely. No,
respectfully.
Very respectfully. Very. let me stress that. Very respectfully.
Yeah, she tried to break it down.
Very respectfully, and I was kind of like.
So she took it as a challenge then.
What do you mean challenge? Sorry.
No, it was a challenging for her.
Was you the first?
I was gonna say
white guy.
Oh yeah. Previously, before that, it was people with her background.
What about you now? Like once you gone black, you staying black, or you?
Yeah, man. I see Ridler DJs and that, and goes Notting Hill Carnival. You can invite me and that.
Live Link.
Well, you've never been to the carnival.
One half of Live Link.
Have you not been to the carnival?
I've never been, bro.
Pardon?
There you go. Because of what he said, I knew he hasn't been.
Man.
There's a lot of hot chocolate there for you,
I really appreciate that. Fully.
Alright, G, Rick.
Yeah.
Anything to say before we head out?
It's been nice talking to you.
Likewise, man.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like Brady. What about your show as well, man?
Yeah, but I appreciate it. I was just going to try and plug that as best as I can. So, yeah, I got my own little podcast as well called Anybody Listening. Yeah. It's fairly open days, to be fair. It was just like a bit of a hobby. Like I said, initially we kind of used it, as you guys can probably relate to like empty your brain. You know, when you've got a lot of shit going on in the week and then you come on and you speak about what's happened. Yeah. And then it's kind of developed into like what we'd like to think is like thought-provoking material, again, like covering mental health. Okay. We've got a guy called the Charisma Coach that talks about like dating. He's a kind of hitch guy as well. Yeah.
No, listen, peeps, we need to go. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment. All of that stuff. Share the works. Alright, so yeah. We gone, the baby fathers. Peace.
Love.
Alright, man.